Welcome to the SwitchClicksPodcast, episode 34, recorded on April 6th, 2021. Today we'll be discussing the future of E3. Now that they announced that E3 is coming digitally this year, we'll talk about if it's even viable this year, and what companies are coming to E3. I'm your host, Dakota. Today I'm joined by Jagjit.
Hello.
And Nathan.
Hello.
So last year, of course, the pandemic happened, 2020, COVID, you know the drill. And E3 was like, yeah, we're going to have E3. And then 2 months before E3, they canceled it. And they said, oh yeah, we're going to do something digital. And then they canceled the digital one. So people were like panicking. Oh no, there's not going to be an E3. But everything went fine. Different companies had their own thing. That's true.
Yeah.
Nintendo was just like, oh yeah, we're going to shut down for a bit. We're not going to talk about anything.
Nintendo's like Ontario. Exact same thing.
Yeah, and then a couple days ago, the E3 Twitter announced, yeah, we're digital E3, and we have a bunch of companies that normally come to E3. We're going to do E3. Everybody's like, why?
Yeah, that's been a question it's been floating around since like 20. Like I guess it's been floating around since last year actually. Why is
it was like a
thing?
talking point as of last year, but about 2017, 2018, people were questioning why E3 was kind of a thing. The business model isn't the greatest, I could say, when it's digital like this, because it's like, okay, we're going to hinge all our bets on a free presentation we're going to be doing for 3 days straight. How would that even work in the grand scheme of things? The only thing I can think of is like E3 has a Twitch channel and YouTube and whatever else, and they have one live stream going on 24/7.
With everyone's live streams, like
just kind of back to back or something.
That's fine. That's fine
with
for
filler
me.
in between of interviews or like other stuff.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're gonna get the game companies to put out like early access betas like they usually do with physical E3, maybe.
Ooh,
so that it actually feels like an E3 for one thing.
Yeah, it's only available for those 3 or maybe a week after the E3 happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
That'd be kind of cool. Now, they could also, in kind of jumping on your idea, they could also implement Twitch's drop feature, where if you have a Twitch account and it's connected to one of your, I guess, any account that you have a game with, it could just send you like a code to download it to get people on Twitch.
That's an interesting idea. The code will be exclusive to those who actually join the live stream.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what the Game Awards did a few times.
That's a really good idea then.
Now, the viability of E3 after 2021, I've noticed that a lot of companies are kind of jumping away from E3 as a whole, specifically Sony, kind of Nintendo, and a little bit of E3, a little bit of EA, and Microsoft. They usually have their own presentations outside of the E3 space, and E3 is just a place to advertise it, and it gives them an excuse to advertise it during E3. Both Sony, they usually just do it, a month later, we're going to announce a bunch of stuff, because then the new space isn't crowded, and they can have all the new space they want.
Yeah. I guess you can, well, I guess there comes a point where you can argue that it's like a games convention anyway, so it'd be like Gamescom. People never really question Gamescom's viability because it's just a regular convention. E3, at least to me, is the same thing, just with more game announcements. I feel like it's just an opportunity to compile everything together, and it attracts gaming community. It's more of a community thing, and I'd say something that's convenient for people to watch or try out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think it's really just for the experience, and I think it's a really complicated thing. Like it's for companies. It's really expensive to rent out the space or set up the presentations and all. At the same time, the payoff is really, really good because they get a lot of attention, especially with that Nintendo Direct.
for I guess industry insiders, they always get to go to E3 every single year. You can sign up if you're 18 or older. You can go to E3 if you wanted to, but it was always made as a space to advertise your new things coming up. When was the first E3? That was like 2008 or something, right?
Well, I'm gonna search that up.
Yeah, but before then they had bigger ones that I think Nintendo usually went to. It was like something called Games World or something. But that was like only for news, like magazines, and not usually online stuff because that didn't really exist back then.
Crap, E3's been around since 1995.
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
but and over time, it's been kind of useless in a way. But I think they should try maybe growing E3 into like instead of one place, there's a bunch of announcements at this one place. They could maybe grow it to different, maybe almost like a tour, you could say. Like during the month of June or something, they tour around the US most likely. and then show off games or something. It could be expensive, but it's a kind of a better idea to get more interactability and not just people waiting for trailers to come out, because you never really get the experience of walking around those booths if you're not part of the industry or nowhere close to LA. It's been a dream of mine to go to E3, but I just don't have the time to, so I'm just watching the trailers.
The money.
That too. It's like $2,000 for a flight. So they announced some companies that will be at E3, and they are the normal ones that are like, oh yeah, Nintendo, Xbox, Ubisoft, EA. Actually, EA I don't think is going to be here, but you know,
EA's not there.
The big three will be there.
Sony's not there again.
Yeah, I think they've definitely.
When did they leave?
They've definitely.
I think last year. Not last year.
They left in like 2019 or 2018.
2019 they left.
2018 was the first one.
2018 they left, and then from there on they just did their own thing.
And arguably it is better. The 2017 one that they did was garbage. I watched it not as a Sony fan at all, but all they did was just like bring 100 people into a room, play some banjo from a guy, show some Last of Us gameplay or trailer, and then move them to another stadium where a guy played the flute for 10 minutes, and then they showed Ghost of Tsushima gameplay, and then that's it.
That is really sad, like compared to Nintendo. Actually, I wouldn't say Nintendo. I wouldn't really say Nintendo's E3s were that good until 2018.
I mean, they weren't good until Switch came out, so
pretty much.
Well, Nintendo does it completely different.
Nintendo can do
like Nintendo seems to bank the most on E3 because they spend like 4 days there usually. 1 day for Direct, and then 4 days for the Treehouse
launches in that time too.
They also have like 4 days worth of the Treehouse gameplay.
Like people think that Directs are like bad, like they're good and stuff, but like the Directs are kind of just mini stuff. Like E3 is kind of big; it's a big deal, so they want to show off what they have, what they're trying to work on, and everything. So every single game during E3 was kind of
it works. It works so well for Nintendo with the way they do it. I feel.
Yeah, they don't even have to rent almost like a stadium area.
All they have to do is like set up a conference area for the Treehouse, and that's pretty much it.
I always like seeing the groups of people at E3 just about to watch the Nintendo Direct for E3. They're usually just kind of out in the lobby with 100 people. There's one camera up, and everybody's just watching on their phones. And once something cool happens, everybody stands up and freaks out.
Reminds me of the New York reactions.
Yeah, we got none of those because of COVID this year. It was stupid.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Now,
hopefully.
You made a good point earlier before the recording that Xbox now owns Bethesda, so Bethesda won't be doing their own, I guess, solo presentation, supposedly.
That'd probably be under Microsoft now.
Please don't ruin it.
If they reveal Elder Scrolls 6, I'm gonna be very happy.
world premiere, world exclusive.
Just a
I
very,
don't really
very.
look at Xbox stuff because I'm not really too heavy into Xbox. I kind of just it's either like Switch, PlayStation, or
Or
like
get Game Pass.
yeah. Like I don't have Game Pass either. I don't really.
If they show a Bethesda game and before the trailer they say like either launch exclusive, which would be better, or console exclusive, and then they show Doom 3, people will be so mad.
Gosh. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay. I, I don't think they're stupid enough to make it exclusive. Oh, actually, I think that could be exclusive. I don't know. I'm a little too optimistic on this because I'm kind of hoping they follow the Minecraft model where they kind of just do Xbox first and everything else.
I think the strategy they're going to take is that you can get the games are all available on every platform they need. Maybe not Nintendo every single time, but most platforms. And if you play on Xbox, you can get it on Xbox Game Pass. And that's why people would play it on Xbox.
That's good. Some good value there.
Yeah, especially for like Elder Scrolls. That's probably like a 300-hour game.
Huge
that
game.
Could take more than a month to play, which that means Microsoft got $50 out of you, or so.
Pokemon cards are still selling like crazy these days, but Pokenerds always have them in stock. Looking to buy one? Get yourself a Dragonite card? Use the code SwitchClicks to get 5% off your entire order on Pokenerds. This code will also be in the description below.
And there's not much else that Xbox could announce. I'm not really familiar with anything, but they did buy a bunch of companies this year, so hopefully they'll bring out some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm thinking
both
maybe
Sony and Xbox kind of need to prove themselves because they released these massive consoles and there's no games to play on them.
Yeah, all except for the games from the previous consoles.
Yeah,
there's really no reason.
Take my time.
Yeah, I know. That's probably what I'll do if I ever get a PS5. I'm just I gotta catch up. There's really no reason. Like, there's really no other games to play other than PS4 games. Now, what will Nintendo do aside from would they actually do the same thing that they normally do? Like if they direct first and then like 4 days worth of Nintendo Treehouses.
Yeah, probably. But other than that, well, they can't. Well, they could do it, but it's gonna be really hard to do it since COVID and everything.
I mean, if you look back at the Age of Calamity Pikmin 3 Treehouse, they just did it over a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Which could work, honestly. I'm not sure how well it went, but
also, I remember. I think it was in Japan. I think it was the Japanese part of the Treehouse where they actually had a conference set up. It just the plexiglass panels in between everyone sitting there.
I just hope that like for Nintendo, they kind of like do something different this year.
Yeah,
really
they've got.
I'm gonna be honest. The Treehouse
expectation bar. The expectation bar got set so high. I still can't believe it.
Expecting for Nintendo. Like, take it in. It's during COVID too. Like, a lot of these companies aren't going to be doing their best.
I mean, okay, I guess
because you're separated. There's each person.
I guess so, but I guess it's fair to say that Nintendo did a little less than they could have. Like, because you saw, like, at least Sony and Microsoft had one big game announcement or something like that. Nintendo waited until people were pissed off, and then they decided to do it in September, I think, or August, which was a little. Yeah, that's really long.
That, like, it's something related to Breath of the Wild 2. Just like, hey, we're gonna give you a little bit of a snippet, like right now, and it's be like, okay, that's cool. I'll accept that. I don't care if the game's gonna release like 2 years from now.
The most I'm expecting out of that is probably just a title reveal.
With maybe a trailer or something.
And a bit of
small.
Last time I suspected Breath of the Wild 2, you said it's not gonna happen, and it happened. So
hey, but that's different story.
So I'm I was expecting some sort of gameplay or some like images about like what's going to happen and everything, and then
Those
the
beta
title reveal
gameplay.
too. Like I guess title reveal makes
Yeah.
sense because we don't know what the name's going to be. They're just like it's a sequel. Both
Yeah,
sequel
it's going
come.
to be a sequel. I'm not expecting much from that game particularly, but I am expecting, not expecting, but hoping for some Zelda anniversary stuff there.
Imagine if they just make it a trilogy instead. It's like no, they're just literally
Oh
making
my
this a series.
gosh! Breath of the Wild trilogy would be ambitious.
What if they split into 2 games like Pokemon does?
No way! They
Well,
did that with
Pokemon is
Zelda
different though.
before.
It's not like a different story in each game. It's the same
They
story,
did
but they
that.
cover legendaries different.
Did that with Zelda
That's so
before, and it was
stupid.
fine. But like,
Yeah, they did Oracle of
people
Ages and Seasons, right? And then they kind of
are,
said it like that.
but that was a Capcom thing. I'm not sure if Nintendo actually wants to do it themselves.
Doubt it.
Now, there in terms of other games, I think you've all seen the comments. Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4. What do you think? What do you think's gonna happen with those two? Now, E3.
I think Metroid Prime 4 not gonna happen. I think Bayonetta 3 pretty likely.
I think any other
Only
game not gonna happen.
Only
Any other
because
game
Bayonetta
not gonna
3
happen?
Yep, not gonna happen. Cause guess what? It's Nintendo. We're gonna have to set their bar so low that they're gonna surprise us. That's what we should
Oh
start
boy.
doing now. Don't expect
Set the
anything.
bar really low. I think I
Yeah,
already
set it
did
really
that.
low.
I think I already did that since the Game Awards 2019.
I've never had high expectations for them, to be honest. It's Nintendo. What do you can expect from them?
Let me E3 2019. That thing
I
knocked it
mean,
out of the
that's
park for me.
true. You do have a point there.
Because they
What else
had
you
like
can expect from them?
a spin-off Zelda game and a Zelda game that nobody knew about. Okay, well that I guess people knew about that one. But like they had a small Zelda game and an indie Zelda game. And like I think that's why I like E3 2019 so much. It's because they decided, okay, let's overwhelm Zelda fans and bring in a third game, and this one's going to be the big one. People to take in Breath of the Wild 2. Like people were asking for that, and Nintendo actually said yes to it. Surprisingly, I'm I don't know what to say. Like the expectation bar for this E3 is going to be set so high that maybe even if Metroid Prime 4 and Bayonetta 3 were in there, fans would still complain because I think it's become pretty normal for
That everyone's
Nintendo
gonna
now.
complain.
Yeah,
Literally
maybe
can't help it.
they're probably gonna reveal a Smash fighter. No, half the people are gonna like it, half the people are gonna hate it. They're gonna reveal a
They're
game
gonna
that no one
release
cares
the
about.
reveal of Pikachu, but with a different costume for Smash. And he's a whole new character. It's
Yeah,
Pikachu
realistic
wearing a
Detective
hat.
Pikachu.
There you go. He's a new character.
Detective Pikachu as a fighter. Oh
Detective
boy,
Pikachu.
voiced by. Actually, I don't want the
Yeah, completely voiced by Ryan Reynolds. That's accurate.
game of Detective Pikachu. We want the movie version.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want the other version. The other version sucks. We want the movie version.
I
Forget
have
Ash
a good feeling.
Pikachu. Who cares about him? We like the movie version.
I have a good feeling. Oh, I think it's pretty much guaranteed at this point. There's probably going to be a Smash fighter. The question
That's
is
kind of guarantee. What are you gonna expect them not to do it?
exactly it'd be a waste opportunity. Like who?
Imagine if they don't. They're just like debated. You're not gonna get anything.
If they do that, they're probably going to throw in some side announcement. I feel. Or rumors actually for a extra fighter, like a secret extra fighter for second fighter pass. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's not. It's just a rumor, but if that's the case, then fans have a little more hope. I assume for they want to represent in Smash. But that's for another discussion.
Yeah.
I don't think anything else could be shown at E3 because that's when Nintendo just goes all out sometimes. Probably just show all the games that they already have there. Maybe show off. I guess show off Skyward Sword because that's coming out. Maybe Pokemon. Actually, no, the Pokemon games are probably not going to be there because Pokemon does their own thing.
Thank you for joining us and discussing the next E3. We'd love it if you could follow us on Twitter and listen to future episodes on Spotify and iTunes. Join our Discord for insight on future episodes, and we'll see you next time on the Switch Clicks podcast.